today we have a very special guest again, and her name is Sheilee, and she has been on the Affinity program coming up to 6 months now, I think, just towards the end of the 6 months, the first 6 months. So I'll hand over to Sheilee to tell us all about her journey and her results and where she is now. So, hi, Sheilee.
Hi.
Tell me a bit about yourself, introduction, a quick introduction, and what you do, kids,
Yeah.
family. Go for it.
Cool. Okay. So, yeah, my name's Shaylee. I work in marketing. So I was previously working at Zoopla. Currently on maternity leave. I have two boys, one 5-year-old and one who is just turned 9 months old. So, teeny baby.
Yeah.
Who is on the move now.
Wow.
So yeah, currently on mat leave, as I mentioned. But yeah, just riding through a very chaotic and busy life at the moment.
Nice, nice. And when do you go back to work?
September.
September.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, Reese, my 9-month-old baby, will turn 1 and he'll start nursery. So and plus my other son, Savi, who's 5, will be on school holidays for about 7 weeks. So I thought it'd probably be best for me to stay at home and look
Yeah.
after them both, even though I'm probably going to kill myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be quite nice to spend some time with both of them.
Nice. Good. Okay. And why did you want to change? What was the reason for you to, for coming on Affinity? And what was your reason for reaching out to us?
Yeah, so I guess a few reasons. I always knew that after having my second child, I wanted to get back into shape, but also, get back into where I was pre first baby. I wanted to be stronger,
Yeah.
leaner than I've ever been before. And I just thought, why not now? There's no time like the present. I also wanted to feel good about myself.
Yeah.
It can be quite chaotic being a mum of two. One still being, a baby who's got very different needs. And don't get me wrong, I love my time with them, but I need to do something for me,
Yeah.
something that made me feel really good. And for me, it's about having control of something that I can control. I think
Yeah.
kids, it can be quite tricky especially with a baby, that you're kind of on their schedule. Whereas for this, it kind of felt like I can drive it forward. Yeah, and I just genuinely believe it's so important to carve out that time for your own mental health. And I
Yeah.
know how good it feels, to, see results, but also just get to the gym and get out of the house. And I went back and forth thinking, oh, can I do this myself? And I realized that I needed to be accountable to someone,
Yeah.
like yourself, who's been
Yeah.
a fabulous coach. But I needed that guidance, but not just on nutrition and exercise, but also to shift my habits for
Yeah.
good. I needed to check in on a regular basis to ensure that I was staying on track. But be able to enjoy socials, not have to worry about what to eat and get back into those bad habits.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think also seeing kind of some of the other members that have done so well through Affinity, like my inspiration was actually Bav. I'm not sure if she still remember, but yeah, she is again mum of two, and has done amazingly. And I just thought, well, she can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
So she was my motivation.
Yeah. And I think you started at the same kind of time as when she did as well. Like she had her second baby as well. She just started after the second one was born. So yeah, it was a good time to start and reach out. Well done. So what was life like for you before you started with Affinity? Like give me a day in the life of Shaylee.
Yeah, I've always been quite relatively healthy, I'd say. Would hit the gym, a few times a week. But I think I struggled to get to where I want to be. My weight kind of fluctuated, and I always felt like there was a need to spend hours in the gym.
Yeah.
And I think what was the issue is what my nutrition, my food.
Yeah.
And I was really good at, getting going for walks and things, but I think it kind of I guess just got you know, you kind of realize you don't realize how quickly all kind of extra calories add up. And I
Yeah.
think I was just stuck in that habit and a bit of denial.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a day in the life would be, go to gym, but then probably, be a total snack queen throughout the whole day, and
Yeah.
snacking between meals, after meals, and then just pretending and being quite naive about the fact that, I'd consumed X amount of extra calories I didn't need.
Because you felt good because you've already been to the gym, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think it is that whole thing about, tracking on my fitness pal. And I initially, when I started on Affinity, I found it, not painful, but very time consuming.
Yeah.
But now it's so easy. But it is literally being really aware of how much everything is from a
Yeah.
calorie point of view.
Yeah. I think it was a real eye opener for you when you started. And I think the
Yes.
first few weeks you did find it a bit of a chore, but now it's just like second nature to you, right?
Yeah, I think in the first few weeks I was like, wow, I don't even know how to, log these things or like, how do I break up my meal, etc. And now I'm like, I've got all my meals saved on my Fitness Pal,
Yeah.
and I don't eat things on repeat either. Like we do, I try and vary, our dinners, etc. I think my husband would kill me if I had meals on repeat.
Yeah.
Um, and he was also worried that I would also be doing that. So
Because
yeah, no,
does
I
that
do.
mean that does it mean that if you've got them on repeat, he gets them on repeat as well?
Yeah, basically. He is well, I'm the chef, so I guess,
Yeah.
he food when he gets home. So, it's win-win for him. But
Yeah.
yeah, I found it really time consuming. And I'll be honest, I did struggle, but gradually as time went on, it is so easy. Like now it takes me 2 seconds to plan out my week,
Yeah.
add in my meals, also know kind of quantities, etc. I kind of, roughly weigh, but it just becomes second nature,
Yeah.
and it's built into my routine. It doesn't feel like it's a chore
Yeah.
anymore, and I think that can be potentially quite off-putting for a lot of people.
Now I think it'll be a chore for to get you off of my fitness pal.
I know, right? Because now I'm in this whole mindset of, well, not sure how many calories that is. That's probably going to tip me over.
Yeah.
But I guess that's a good thing, just being aware.
Exactly. Yeah. It's your whole mindset. It's just shifted from where you were before. And it's these little lifestyle changes that you've made, which has got you to where you are today, right? And you've been on a few holidays as well, where you maintained the weight. And even going on holiday, remember when you were really, really worried going on holiday,
I
right?
know. Because I was going away for 10 days and I thought, God, how am I going to enjoy this holiday? Also, knowing that I've lost X amount of weight and still want to try and keep it
So what
off.
was it? How did we help you before you went on holiday?
Um, so the guidance that I got was brilliant. You told me as a coach to enjoy the holiday, get my steps in, walk when I can. You didn't tell me to hit the gym, but I did,
Yeah.
because it just made me feel good and it was built into like my daily routine. It was really nice actually because me and my husband kind of, tag teamed, I would get the kids up in the morning, give Reese his milk, and then I'd go to the gym and hand them over to Phil or my husband, and he would take them down to breakfast, and I'd meet them there about
Yeah.
45 minutes after. So, and then I used to take Reese for a nap, and I'd just walk with him so he could nap. So that was another half an hour walk and getting the steps in, and yeah, it just made me kind of, I guess, set up for the rest of the day.
Did you find your
And
behavior towards food on holiday was different this time?
yeah, and the other really good tip, and I listened to the podcast that you sent me, which was really, really good,
Yeah.
about tips on going on holiday. And the other thing was, breakfast. There is so much that you could eat at breakfast,
Yeah.
open buffet, and you don't need to eat everything, but for some reason we we just tend to think that we
Exactly.
need to eat everything at home. You don't eat everything.
Yeah.
So it was also training your mind to actually say, wait, hold on, let me just have an omelette today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I can just have pancakes. The day after I can, have cereal, etc. and still
Exactly.
mix it.
Yeah. It's about splitting the
And
buffet up, right, over the 10 days.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I ended up having, pretty decent meal, not feeling overstuffed,
Yeah.
and still, going through the day with, being able to sort of eat decent amount of portions. So,
Yeah.
lunch again would be quite light. It was so hot in Jamaica, so, I didn't feel the need to also overindulge. But I felt like I had, not I hadn't held back.
Yeah,
So it was nice. And I came back and I still stayed the same weight and maybe
yeah,
even lost a little bit. So that felt really good, knowing that, all that hard work hadn't gone down the drain.
yeah. Amazing, amazing, Lord. So where are you now? Talk about a little bit more about your results, the time that you've been working with me. How many kilos down are you now?
Um,
What have you seen
yeah,
as well in terms of changes in body composition, your energy,
yeah.
your mood, your lifestyle? Where are you now?
Um, yeah, so I'm down about 14 kg. So the lightest I've ever been, which, yeah, I don't think you realize how much of an achievement that is until you kind
Yeah,
of see it in figures. And the time frame, I mean, 6 months, I honestly didn't think that was even possible, to be
yeah,
honest. We told Nick when I signed up that, I'm going to Jamaica in April and I started in January. Is it possible to lose 10 kg? I literally just threw that figure at him.
yeah,
And he was like, yeah, 100%. I was like, really? And I did. So
yeah,
yeah, it was, you know, pretty amazing to get to that point. My body feels so much more toned. I feel stronger, both physically, mentally. I'm so much more confident in what I wear now. To the fact that, I need a whole new wardrobe. And I messaged you today about it,
yeah,
that literally none of my shorts fit me.
yeah,
And the clothes from Zara actually fit me. I struggled to return a whole box, which is probably not good, but for the bank balance. But
yeah.
yeah, my mood has been, so much better. I have more energy. I feel more balanced. And I
Nice.
think transformation has sort of generally improved my whole lifestyle. And, that energy is then filtered down to the rest of my family, etc.
Yeah,
So I just feel like I'm a better person overall.
yeah. Amazing, amazing. And what's your routine like now? Day in the life of Shaylee now.
So I try to meal plan as much as possible. So I do that on a Friday.
Yeah.
So my weekly meals and my shopping are sort of all done in time for the shop to come on Saturday.
So do you
Um,
and your hubby eat the same like dinners every day, right?
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And so does
The
so
kids as
does my
well.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I make sure that it's pretty balanced as well, protein, veg, and carbs as
Yeah.
well. So we're all, again, relatively healthy and living the affinity life.
Only family now.
Subtly though, subtly.
Yeah.
Although my son is like, can you take a picture of my food too? So it's quite funny. Yeah, so yeah, we all kind of eat the same meal, so I don't feel like I need to, prep extra,
Yeah.
etc. I tend to also batch prep overnight oats on a Sunday, and kind of one lunch that I can have on a couple of days throughout the week if I'm really time poor.
Yeah.
It just helps if I'm super busy, then I know I can tuck into that. So yeah, our weekly meals and shopping are sorted on Monday, before Monday hits, sorry. And
Yeah.
then on Sunday, a batch prep. And then now that my little one is in a bit more of a consistent routine, I wake up around 6 a.m. about 3 times a week to work out, I go to the gym. And this is like my protective time. So no mum guilt because the kids are still asleep.
Yeah.
And I can come back feeling pretty amazing. And it helps me start the day and the week on quite a positive high. And it sets the tone for everything else. It means I don't really spend the day stressing about when I can
Yeah. When you
squeeze
can
or
go.
I
Yeah.
am. And me and my husband sort of we tag team the morning routine. So get the kids up, dressed and fed, and I also cook dinner in the morning. So again, it's one less thing to think about later on
Yeah.
when
It's
things
really
get
good.
really hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty militant with my routine. Most
It's like
people
it's
will tell
like you
me.
said in the beginning, right? You like being in control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know that as the day progresses, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
My little one might fall ill or something, or we might not nap for the 2 hours. So, yeah, it just helps me function a bit better. And the rest of the day usually includes like a morning walk
Yeah.
with Reese, baby class or a play date with friends. He naps, and then I take that opportunity to have lunch and reset for the afternoon, which tends to be pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
All as soon as school finishes, we all have dinner and then bedtime, and then yeah, sometimes I go for a walk or I started running. So that's been quite
Nice.
nice, just getting fresh air. And now that it's obviously daylight until a bit later,
Yeah.
and it's cooler later on. So that's been quite nice. I've got up to about 6K. So
Oh,
yeah, I think that
nice.
was another kind of thing that you
Yeah, because I
told me to.
remember, yeah, I remember when you started, you were on the treadmill, and it was January, it
Yeah,
was winter, and you started doing your steps and running on the treadmill, right? Walking, running kind of thing. And you were doing it a lot, like a lot of the time of the day, right? To get the steps in. And now it's great that you're outdoors as well.
yeah, it's so important. Yeah, I I kind of struggled, I think, at the beginning because the weather was just so bad,
Yeah,
and it's so tricky. I couldn't take Reese out
yeah,
in those conditions when he was so little.
yeah.
So I just thought I'm just going to invest in one of those walking
The walking
treadmill
pads, yeah,
thingamajigs, portable ones. Um, and yeah, it helped me for like good 3, 4 months. I could just, when he napped, I used to just jump on it and I just used to do about 2, 3K,
yeah,
make sure I get my steps in, etc. So I didn't feel too bad,
yeah,
because yeah, you just can't predict what's going to happen outside.
yeah. Amazing, amazing. What's been your biggest learning with Affinity?
Um, a few learnings, I have to say. I've learned that nutrition accounts for, I mean, I think people say 70%. I feel like it's a lot more
It's a lot more.
of weight
It
loss.
is.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
honestly did not realize how much of an impact it really has. I started out in Infinity and then doing minimal exercise, but I was obviously had a calorie goal every
yeah,
day. I didn't have time to exercise and Reese was still so young. But once I began sticking to my calorie goal, I just saw results immediately and I was
yeah,
shocked. And now that I'm in a solid routine, my meals and go-to snacks are saved. It takes like 5 minutes to plan out my week.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that's realizing actually that nutrition accounts for a lot more.
yeah,
I think has, yeah, been a key learning. And the fact that also, you can still have a social life. It's
yeah,
all about planning ahead and structuring your day, allowing you to eat out and eat meals out.
yeah,
There've been many helpful tips shared, like having a lighter breakfast or a protein shake,
yeah.
or a yogurt.
Yeah, because
Um,
this is another thing as well with Shaylee. You've had quite a few socials, and because you're on mat leave, even in the beginning when we started this, you used to have lunches of your mum friends and breakfasts and a lot of meals out in the week as well. And you would be like, "Oh, Jamie, what am I going to eat?" But the good thing is that you used to stay accountable and you used to send me the menus, if you remember.
yeah,
So before
yeah.
you'd go, you send me the menu and we'd kind of choose the option together, right? But I remember at the beginning, you used to have like at least one meetup a week during the week.
Yeah, and it still continues as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I guess I'm making the most of mat leave, but
yeah,
it's yeah. I always used to think, being on, some sort of program, you wouldn't be able to go out and eat out or have a social life, but you absolutely can. It's
yeah,
just about planning ahead, structuring your day, to have a lighter breakfast or you know, have a lighter lunch. But it's yeah, like you said, it's kind of grabbing these tips from everybody else, and seeing how it works for you and finding your rhythm and ritual. And I think once you find that, it just becomes again, like I said, second nature.
second nature. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Was there any time where you lacked motivation? And when there was, what did you do to overcome that?
Um, yeah, I think when things get super chaotic at home and like, you know, one or two of the kids are unwell, like, and things are just manic, and you're kind of losing control of prepping your meals, or you've been out for, a weekend. I think sometimes that can kind of just derail. Well, it derailed me,
Yeah,
and it's hard to sort of get on track because your personal life is just a bit of a, chaotic mess.
yeah,
Um, so I think that can be quite tricky to navigate through. And I think for me, it was always just trying to see if I could find ways to get outside for a walk or, have a bit of me time,
yeah,
to get that, um, yeah, that sort of motivation back.
yeah,
I remind myself how amazing it is to see the number drop on the scales
Yeah.
or, having that post-workout high after finishing a session.
Yeah.
And, just remembering that tiny bit of demotivation can quickly flip into something really positive, even
Yeah.
after like a 20-minute workout or run. Like if Reese was really unwell, like if he'd nap for like, 15, 20 minutes, I'd just quickly, go upstairs in the loft and do like a hit 15-minute workout.
Yeah.
And that still pumps some, positive endorphins in me. And I still feel like I did something for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I said, it's tough. It's not easy when you're a mum of two. I'm sure you're aware as well, with the busy life that you're in. But sometimes I guess, somehow you just find the time.
Yeah.
So I think seeing the results has sort of been like a motivation in itself. And
Yeah.
I know that, seeing people around me reach to where they've got to, like Bav, etc., that's been key motivator
Yeah.
as well. She's in a similar boat to me. So yeah, her journey really inspired me.
Yeah. Amazing. Good. Nice. Okay. And finally, before we end, what three tips would you give someone listening to this podcast, or someone who's starting out new on the program, or someone who's sitting on the fence, someone who's feeling demotivated even? What three tips would you give them?
Um, yes, I've heard this a lot from you. Consistency, be consistent.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
I used to think that being really good during the week meant I could relax and overindulge maybe on the weekends. But it basically just screws you over.
Yeah.
In reality, it just resets all your progress. And I've seen it happen. Like the scales just suddenly go up, and I, realize why.
Yeah.
Just don't undo the hard work that you've already put in. Trust the process and stick to it.
Yeah.
It's really a short-term sacrifice for long-term results. So that consistency, once you stick at it and keep going, you will see results. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen it through. My second tip would be plan and prep ahead. I've heard this so much from all of the coaches here. Life is already hectic, so just take a bit of time to set yourself up for the week. As I mentioned, found logging everything on my Fitness Pal time consuming, but now it's just built into my routine.
Yeah.
And a bit of planning goes a long way, to helping you stay on track. And then the third is like making time, so it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
We're all busy in our own way. I think I remember Nick saying in a podcast, there are people out there that are busier than you, but still manage to find the time. And that's kind of stuck with me. Invest
Yeah.
in yourself and your rewards. Even my husband said the other day, I don't have time. And I said, you just need to find it and just make it like a non-negotiable, whether that's 6 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
You need to do it for yourself.
Oh, wow. You've
But
become
yeah,
his coach now.
I know, right? Oh God, he's brainwashing us.
Yeah.
Um, Probably his intention. But yeah, I really didn't think I'd be able to manage it all with two kids, one being like, newly born, with the school drop-offs, prepping meals,
Yeah.
housework.
It's
But
hard, it's
somehow,
hard, it's hard. But now you're into this routine. You're going to find it
mm,
easier now when you go back to work, because you kind
yes,
of get everything done early in the morning. So then you've got your day set
exactly,
up, right? So
exactly,
yeah, once you come off mat leave, it's going to be like, again, everything's just going to be second nature to you now.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, 100% worth it anyway.
Good, amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Shaylee.
Cool. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, speak soon. Bye.